Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm Veronica Valenzano with DiTommaso Real Estate, and we're just sharing a little bit of new knowledge today with Jen Daly and Kathy.
Great. Hi, I'm Kathy Barzal. I'm with DiTommaso Real Estate too. And we just wanted to check in with everyone and give you the latest in real estate news. And we wanted to bring Jen Daly, who's currently a loan officer with Freedom Mortgage, and which is one of the top lenders in the United States. And Jen has been in the industry for 11 years. So Jen, tell us, what's going on?
Well, there's a lot going on, but I do have some positive news today, which we did see in the jobs report. So unemployment was actually down for the month of May. So in the past couple of months, as we all know, it's been very stressful financially, physically for people, obviously emotionally. So I'm hoping we made a little bit of a turn. And I think that I can definitely say I've had a steady stream of pre-approvals for purchases. I think people are very eager to want to get back out there and see the houses. I know that for a fact. I can feel it. And what's going to really play nicely with that when we do open up again is the rates. And the rates have really been holding very nicely down in the low threes for the conventional. VA, FHA, they're actually below 3 at this point. So that's definitely a positive when we all come out of this chaos, for lack of a better word. And when we do come out, there's going to be programs that have always been there, but just to touch upon a few, for example, a first-time homebuyer program, that is a conventional loan with 3% down. So that works on a conventional level. We also have the FHA, which is 3.5% down. And if you're looking at a two-family, you can still do 3.5% down. The rates on them are excellent right now. And I think that, moving forward with the rates and the ability to have more buying power with the rates. So I've been encouraging my realtors that I work with to check with your clients, as I do, and just say, hey, checked and see if you have a little bit more buying power, because you were approved at 4.5 and now rates are down to 3.25. So I'm definitely out there encouraging that as well.
What about buyers that got pre-approved maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago? You would recommend that they come back now? And
I always recommend it because things change, and obviously the rates definitely have gone up, and 2 months ago they could have been in the 4s. It was all over the place at that time. Now they're a little bit more stabilized, but I do encourage everyone to just kind of always stay in touch with their loan officer, because things that do change. More importantly now, what we've been looking into is making sure that people are still working. We do have to ask that question. People who are not working, when are they going back to work? Have they been laid off? Is it a furlough? That kind of thing. So those are the things we definitely want to stay in touch with our clients, because it definitely plays a role. You'd be surprised how many people think they can get a mortgage on unemployment. So it doesn't work that way. And it's a simple, conversation between the client and loan officer to lead them down the correct path.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that as an issue, where some buyers, now they're on unemployment and they don't know when they're going to start working, and they don't even know if they can close.
Correct. And that definitely is something that we have to keep an eye on. But a lot of times when people come to me, they say, well, I'll be back, at this particular day. I'll pre-approve them, and we'll say, listen, okay, we have to wait for that time. But if your salary is not going to change and really nothing has changed in the picture, then I can at least give them where their price range will be once they're back to work. So, and a lot of people, are very, are aware of dates now. And it's, for example, I did a pre-approval about 2 weeks ago, and one was a dentist. She worked for a dentist, and it was all up in the air. And I did the pre-approval. I said, listen, we don't know when the dentists are going back. A week later, the dentists are back, which is great because we have it in place. And now she's going back to work, and she didn't know when a week before. Now she does. So I do encourage those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, you mentioned unemployment. How does that work? So if someone, let's just say they were for 6 weeks, right? If they were collecting unemployment, does that unemployment money go towards their like annual income now?
You know what? I don't believe it does in terms of qualifying them. No, I don't believe it does. So we'll be looking to go back to them, their initial salaries or whatever they were making. So at that point, we wouldn't really incorporate that. Sometimes in some cases you do if it's like a furlough and like a construction job and it's something that's consistent. But in this particular case, I don't believe so. Again, it's all new to us. And I think these numbers of unemployment are astronomical, something we haven't dealt with before. But I know what we're doing is waiting to come off of unemployment and then move on to their traditional salaries.
Right.
And what would you say, any difference with the people who are self-employed or borrowers who are getting investment?
There is a difference with the self-employed. Yes, there's a big difference, and really self-employed and investment are two categories that have a lot more what we call overlays. In other words, the banks are putting stricter guidelines and their own guidelines on these loans because of the simple fact that, let's say, an investment property, if you're looking to purchase it, at this point, we don't have to pay rent. The have to pay rent, or the renter doesn't have to pay rent until August. So from a bank's perspective, well, if we're going to qualify you on rental, but rental income that's not really has to be paid, that's where it comes into play. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for an investment. First question is, are you essential? Are you open? If you're a restaurant owner, then we know you're not open, or you may be open doing takeout or whatever the case may be, but that's going to affect your profit and loss for this year and what you're actually making. So we're going to be double checking, where is your income at this point? If you are non-essential and you are completely not employed becomes an issue because of that fact, because their income has halted and we don't know when it's going to go back up. So we have a lot of, and that for the most part, it's pretty much just kind of, like I said, overlays where we're going to look for profit and loss statements, upcoming invoices, paid invoices, upcoming contracts, things like that, so that we can project they have business ready for them in the future.
And Kathy, you have any more? I was going to ask another question. I'm going through, some situations with buyers and sellers where they're looking at $900,000 properties are up. And even if they have a huge down payment, they still have to borrow so much, let's say over 510 for a mortgage. So what about those like huge loans? How are those playing out right now?
Well, the jumbo market kind of took a big hit almost immediately. And some of the larger banks, it was kind of their niche, Wells, Chase, Bank of America, but that's their portfolio money. So what they're going to do is be safe, and they're going to pull back on their lending of that. The high balance and jumbo is a little bit more difficult to do because of the fact that, again, the true jumbo is portfolio money. So meaning that that's their own money. So they're going to make their decision and say, listen, we don't want to lend right now in this environment. High balance rates are definitely higher than the regular conventional at this point. Doesn't mean that these loans can't. It's just that there's a component to it in terms of the rate with the high balance, and of course trying to find a home for the jumbo at this point. It's not going to be like that forever. I think that, and nor will self-employed investment. That will turn around once there is positive tone in the market. I think that all of this will turn around. But for right now, there are certain sectors that are going to get hit. Jumbo loans, self-employed investment, those are all risk to the bank, and they're being exceptionally careful. Which, listen, if we lent money and we knew that person might not have the ability to repay it, we would think twice, even if it's just us among friends. We're not going to lend, $10,000 to a guy who's just not going to be able to pay it back. Mm-hmm. And has no forecast of being able to pay it back. So in those arenas, they're going to be definitely more cautious, which I can understand. We may not like it, but we can understand it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's great points though, because for people that maybe looking to get in, especially now, you know, you're hearing, I know I have people calling me all the time saying, I want to get in, if, you know, get in the market or upgrade. Like, this is the time because the interest rates are so low.
Right.
It's a good point that you bring up. You know, they should know where they stand with FHA, what kind of loan they want to get, FHA, VA, conventional, jumbo, whatever it is, because
Right.
it's going to make a difference with how much they can borrow, right? Their buying power. So
Absolutely. And that's a great thing. It's a great thing that, like I said, once we open up, and as you mentioned before, I think you said July is phase 2. So as long as we proceed down that path and in conjunction with the rates holding low, it's definitely a win-win situation. And I can absolutely feel the eagerness of the clients to get into these homes and to see them. Virtual, I know, is difficult. They're seeing it, they're looking online. They're doing their due diligence with that, but it's not tangible. They can't go into the house and say, I love the kitchen or, you know, touch and feel, and they can't do it. So, but they're right there. They're right at the gate. And I do really feel confident about that. When it does open up, it's going to be a very nice flow. It really will. And I'm hoping the rates do stay the same. And there's a lot of options with the FHA too. So especially out here in New York with, you know, Staten Island and Brooklyn, they're difficult to get into a 2-family, but FHA gets you in there at 3.5% down if you qualify. So, you know, that can be a positive. It may be something that gets you through the door, and later on you may want to refinance it or whatever the case may be, but it's there and it's available to people. So, and with the rates being lower in FHA, it's definitely a very attractive loan at this point. It really is. And a VA, of course, is 100% financing. So that's something that then the rates are below 3 on that as well.
wow,
Awesome.
that's great.
Yep. Good news, right?
Good news.
Chock full of information. Thanks, Jen.
Yeah. You're welcome. Very welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing what's going on in the mortgage world, and with us and for everyone that we're going to be posting this on social media. And we'll have Jen Daly's information. We'll put it in the comments on this video as well. So if you have any questions, you can reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a
Thanks,
good day,
guys.
everybody.
Yes.
Bye.